Welcome to Furious Driving, and we're back with the Mondeo, which is gradually cleaning up to something to be actually quite presentable and quite a nice car. Well, good news is it's coming back to life quite effectively. Bad news is we're going to overshoot our 7-day, 1-week deadline quite dramatically, but no one's really surprised by that. A quick recap if you're new to the story. This car had been languishing in a garden in London, I thought, for about 5 years. Searching the MOT history suggests it was last on the road in 2015, which makes it 7 years it's been off the road. It was so covered in brambles and weeds you couldn't actually tell what kind of car it was. The photo I had just kind of showed a bit of the roof and the bonnet. You couldn't tell. That garden belonged to a 90-something-year-old gentleman. The actual number of cars he had in there is unknown, possibly up to 40. It was a lot of cars packed in there, and a friend of mine was doing clearance on the garden because he'd basically lost interest in them and just wanted them gone. And I was offered this one basically at scrap value, so I said yes because I really like Mondeos. It was so covered in dirt you could barely tell what colour it is. It's actually rather a nice shade of metallic blue, and of course it didn't run. So the last couple of videos we've gone through the thing, we've cleaned it up a lot, and we established in the last video that there were 2 reasons it won't start. First of all, there was the immobiliser problem. It had an instruction book for an Italian alarm, a sticker for a Philips alarm, and of course it's got the Ford immobiliser, and it didn't want to run. It would crank but wouldn't fire unless you put easy start into the inlet manifold. My friend James, the auto electrician, came around, who's fitted the fog light on the Crown Victoria, who fitted an immobiliser on the Alpha 145. Really useful friend to know. He came along and in seconds located the immobiliser up above the glove box, disconnected it. It sends power to the ignition system and the fuel pump at the correct times. However, the fuel pump is dead. It is now 9:30 in the morning and I'm waiting for the new fuel pump to arrive. I ordered it a couple of days ago, but it was a special order item and it's not here yet. So, come on, Mr. Postman. I guess I'll take the old one out while I'm waiting. Now, before I crack into the car, there is one thing I want to just quickly mention, and that is the state of the chassis. One of the things I've seen come up a few times in the comments, and bear in mind, at the time of recording, there have been over 800 comments on the first 2 videos. It'll be over 1,000 by the time you see this video. So forgive me if I've not had a chance to like or answer your comment yet, because there've been quite a few and I've still got to actually do more videos. I reckon it's going to be rotten. I can't believe that's not as rotten as a pair. It's going to have holes in it for sure, that kind of thing. However, although I've not been underneath it yet on the ground, when it was on the low loader, let me just roll you some B-roll in the background, because looking at this thing when it was on the truck, it looked really solid. That's why I even bothered carrying on, because I've not seen a Mondeo looking this good for a long time. There's a little bit of surface rust on the pinch weld. The floors looked really good, everything looked amazing underneath the car. So it gives me a lot of confidence to say that when I stick a jack under this to take the wheels off it, it's not going to go through the floor. I really am looking forward to doing a project that doesn't involve welding. Now, I believe to undo this one, you have to undo this kind of locking ring, which just rotates around. Now, last night, I did try and do it, but it wouldn't want to move, so I soaked it in Bulldog BDX, and now it feels far more happy to move. I'm not sure which direction. Lefty, loosey, tighty, righty. There we go, and it's free. Oh yeah, I need to undo the fuel lines as well. That'll probably be quite useful. How do these undo? They're kind of grubby and I can't see how the connectors work. I'm going to have to Google this because I don't want to break those. I've not seen... Well, confusion reigns at this point because all the guides I'm reading on forums are saying squeeze the 3 clips at once. However, these have quite clearly only got 2. And I can squeeze them together at the same time using a pair of pliers, and then the thing should just lift straight up. Unfortunately, it just pulls the pump out rather than coming. I don't want to stick a screwdriver under there and start forcing it, because that would probably be a bad thing to do. Okay, so I left this for a couple of hours actually. I soaked it in Bulldog BDX. Then my friend Max turned up, and I shot his wedding photos the other day, and he brought a really nice bottle of whiskey around, so thanks Max. We went for a little drive in the Crown Victoria because he'd not seen that before either, so a nice little break away from this. Had some beans on toast, so hopefully now this is going to be, well, possible to remove. So I watched a couple of videos about taking these things out, but the one common denominator is extreme force and people generally breaking them, because this is basically 25-year-old plastic. You have to squeeze that bit there and get a second bit. It's a 2-plier job basically, and 2 pairs of pliers. Oh, I didn't realise the camera wasn't recording the last bit, but I've got the return line out. The collar's both shattered on both the return and the feed. What it is like a release collar, and you squeeze that on the side of it, and that releases whatever's inside there, spring-loaded something, which then releases this little clip on the spouty bit that goes in there. Then you give it a lot of a tug, actually use a pair of pliers in the end to to pull it out under these little flaps like an airplane wing, and then it came out. That one's out. The collar cracked on this one. The collar just shattered on the red one. The old tired plastic was just not up for it at all. And now I've got the situation where I can pull up that little catch collar thing a little bit, but I can't get it all the way out. Oh my god, that'll be the boot shutting. Okay, it's out. We are free. Basically what we need is extreme violence and a lot of luck, because it's too tight to come out gently and too fragile to survive violence. So it's an issue. And here is the fuel pump. And you know, I'm looking at the petrol in here. I was expecting it to be like yellow tarnished muck. It's actually really rather clear. That looks fine. I'm genuinely amazed. That looks really good petrol. Okay, I'm going to leave it in there until the new one arrives. It's nearly lunch, well, it's lunchtime, and the new pump hasn't arrived yet, so don't know where that's got to. Normally they're really prompt and they turn up first thing in the morning. Oh, I'm glad I've got to practice on putting this back in again, because it's a bit of a widdly angle to do it. Yes, I've learnt now that you need to do a widdly angle. Well, there's the old fuel pump, and you can see the filter strainery thing had actually split open. There's the fuel level meter. On the retaining clips, the collars have broken, but the actual clippy bit that goes into the top of the pump has survived, so we'll clip back in, and then getting it out again in the future will be the problem for the next person who owns this car. Probably though, that pump will outlast this vehicle, so hopefully it won't be a problem. Well, the fuel pump didn't turn up today because, I guess, reasons probably, so I'm going to finish the day off today with a bit more polishing. I'm going to attack the door. Now, people did say, shouldn't I be clay barring the paint before I was going in for this? Now, if I was going for a full-on concours finish, I would do, and also if I could find the paint through the dirt, I would do, but this is very much a dirt removal as much as it is polishing. It's sort of hard to tell in the dark, but it does look quite nice. Now, it might look like it's about midnight, but it's actually only about 3:30 in the afternoon. You know, got our proper Arctic nights now. Luckily, I've got all the various Draper magnetic torches in the under bonnet lamp, which does a great job of lighting the way for me. Well, I don't know how well you can see that in this light level, but that driver's door looks really nice now. Back door obviously looks out how it did previously, but that driver's door looks amazing. What a transformation. If this old car comes up like that, I'm going to be really, really happy and impressed with this. I've got some lacquer peel down here though. Typical 90s metallic colour, lacquer peel on the doors. Don't talk to me about lacquer peel on doors. You've seen the Red Rover estate. Mucky, no reflection. Shiny reflection. Nice. Well, the camera battery's about to die, so I'm going to keep on doing this in the dark without your company for a few minutes, and join me again in the morning when hopefully this car will be an awful lot shinier. So last night I kept on polishing until it got too cold to work, and also too much moisture in the air to do anything apart from just smear stuff around. I think I've done a really good job. You can tell it looks really shiny now. Okay, we'll look again maybe in a little while when it's not -2 degrees. I mean, it is literally not an exaggeration. -2 degrees right now. And my fuel pump is on the way. Be here any minute now apparently. But they've said I've got to dismantle this one and put just the fuel pump section into this unit. So I'm glad I didn't bin this yesterday. Right, so the parts have arrived, and I've got to say it is painfully cold this morning. It was -2.5 degrees on the car thermometer driving into the school run this morning. Oh man alive. So yeah, warm coffee to try and keep my fingers from going numb. The fuel pump repair kit has arrived. I assumed I was buying a complete pump, not a repair kit. So I've got this bit here, which is the pump itself, which has got a little tuggy thing in there. We've got a new socky thing just there. And always reassuring when your repair kit comes with a rubber bit that isn't on the current thing and a cable tie. Also a small washer as well. So looking at this, it does appear as though this is like a rubber clippy thing, so this will just lever out forwards and pop out of just here, make the connection, and bada bing, we're good to go. So using the car as a workbench because it's the only place in the sunshine, I actually made a tin foil cover for the petrol tank last night, so the car doesn't smell of fuel, which is quite amazing. Right, so I get my screwdriver in there, lever against the rubber clippy thing, and it should just pop out. There we go. Away it comes. And there is a retaining ridge on there, so that is a little bit harder to get out of there. And we're free. Okay, all good. Oh, the longer this takes, the colder my hands get and the harder this whole job becomes. So here's the plug. Clicks in correctly, that's good. That slides in there, that's good. Okay, so a little washer goes on there, apparently. That it goes on there, it's held on by that. And now I see why there is a cable tie included. This rubber cap looks like it should fit inside here to hold it steady, but it's not quite the same as the Ford part, so I was going to cable tie it all in place, neat and tidy. Okay, so that is now held in place. The gauge moves as it should, I hope. And this we can go and now test in the car. Right, now before I put it into the car, let's first just check the thing does actually work. Let's power it up and see if it makes noises. That's weird, I'm not getting motor sound. Okay, we should really be having buzzy pump sounds at this point, shouldn't we? Right, jump pack attached. Why are you not starting, Mr. Pump? That's connected up. Lock the car. Unlock the car. Weird central locking noises. Nothing on the priming though. That's so weird. Why aren't you working? Okay, this is going to sound like a really stupid thing to do, but I just want to make sure I've got a working pump. I've had new pumps turn up before and they have been broken, so 12 volts straight from the battery, or 9 volts from the battery. It's low after being in the cold overnight. Yep, you can hear that really clearly. Okay, so why am I not getting power as far as the pump when everything was working last night? I just put a test meter on the thing again with the ignition at position 2, and it's getting voltage to the pump, but it's not making any noise. I don't understand why it's not pumping. It pumps when it's not connected. There's voltage here. This is literally just a wire connection. There's no electronics in here. It just goes straight from the connector just there to the motor. It could not be more basic than that. This is now measuring the 2 pins, the red and the black, that go from the pump housing to the motor itself. Nothing. There's power at the connector, at where it's going into the plug. Okay, so I've got no power coming through here. Okay, that's just interesting. But I have got power. Oh yeah, I've got power. 6 volts and 11 volts. Okay. Infuriating. So where's the electricity going between this connector block here on the top? How can that not be putting power through it? Let's test this thing on this side of the block. No power coming through. On there, and on this side, 1.6 volts. Oh, that's crazy talk. Incredibly, it would appear that this connector block of the fuel pump is actually at fault. So I wonder if the old motor still works then. Okay, let's put power to this thing and see what happens. Try not to short the battery out while I'm doing it. No, nothing. The motor is actually dead. Yeah. Okay, so that's good news. The motor was dead anyway. That's full of petrol. So yeah. So it appears that in fact it's not the motor. Well, the motor was dead, but this connector block in the housing was also, I don't know, how the hell can that break? But no power is going through that. So I need to go and get a complete new pump and see if I can get a refund on a pump that I've opened and assembled. know if they'll do that or not. I suspect they might not. Right, let's do a quick continuity test, because before I go and try and beg for my money back on this thing, let's just double check this block is actually broken. Okay, so let's get negative, oops, one wire on there. One wire on there. Get a beep. Oh, okay, so maybe it's not dead. Wire on there. Wire on there, not broken. Oops. And I noticed the fuel gauge was working, so yeah, wire on there, wire on there. What the? I don't know. Maybe it needs fuel pressure. Maybe that's the. No, it can't. Because I chucked it to the battery and it worked. Oops. So I'm going to repeat the battery direct test to rule out the motor and the housing pump. Housing pump. Earth on this side. It works. Okay, fine. So I can fit this knowing that this does actually work. The problem has to be with the circuitry in the car. Let's whack this in quickly. This fuel actually looks and smells quite good, but it's nearly full tank, so what I'm going to do is siphon off a couple of gallons and stick them in the other cars, so I can still use it, and put fresher stuff into this one later on once it starts. Okay, I've now siphoned 6 and a bit gallons of petrol out of this car and distributed them amongst the other cars, which have got more fuel to dilute them. So now let's go and refit this thing, because all my tests show that this works. Whatever doesn't work is on the car side, so let's get us back in the car and figure things out from there. Okay, so I thought that was recording then, but it clearly wasn't. Yeah, I've managed to get this into the tank. It only goes in one way because of the shape of the tank and the floor and the shape of all the extremities. This now then drops all lined up in the right way around, so that oops, the pipes are in the correct position. Locking ring over first. Don't put your pipes in first and then realise you've not put your locking ring in. There we go. That's located correctly. Now let's try putting the connector back on there and see what happens this time with it actually in the tank. So starting with a lock and an unlock. Reach in. Dead battery, but oh, I can hear the pump this time. Oh, I can hear the pump. I'm going to put a jump pack on that. In fact, no, I'm going to put the pipes in. I'm going to be super brave and put the pipes in. Right, jump pack connected. So for a bit of a change, 200 VI is now donating electricity. I will be seeing fuel at this rail, I should really. If the pump was doing anything. Can't hear it doing pump stuff. No, I'm going to put the thing back on again in case it's like a pressure thing. Let's just try and lock and unlock a bunch of stuff. Can't hear the pump. There's literally no reason for the pump not to be working right now. Fuel gauge is correct because that's showing us now a quarter of a tank, so I've taken 6 gallons out of the thing. Oh, come on, car! Pump petrol and start, damn you! I wonder if I could put 12 volts directly to that. So file this firmly under don't try this at home, but what I'm going to do now is hook up the battery directly to, well, a battery directly to the fuel pump, because then that will start up and then I can try and crank the car and see if it runs or not. Yes it is, yes, I can hear it going. Yep, that's pressured the system. What do you know? With power directly to the pump, that thing purrs like a kitten. That is as sweet as you like. Okay, so the pump works, the engine works, the ignition system works, everything works, but for some reason the car is still killing power to the fuel pump. But look at that, that is lovely. That is beautiful. What a great engine. I'm going to turn this off before I do any damage to anything. Let's give it one more go on its own. Oh, it runs now. Oh, you beautiful machine. It works! Yeah! 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 Whoop whoop! It actually works! Oh my god, I can't believe it. It doesn't work. I think what I was seeing there was the fuel I pumped into the fuel system, running it there. It doesn't work. It works when you've manually powered the fuel pump and there's enough fuel in the filter in the system to keep on sucking through and keep on going. Bother, I think is the only way I can phrase that. Extreme bother. Fridge magnets and... Ugh. You can't swear on YouTube, but I really want to. Well, I've just hooked up the manual battery pump again thing again. Because I just like hearing it run. Oh, why are you not playing Ball Car? Why are you not working? Let's see what else works in this car while I'm doing this. Let's put the lights on. I know the hazard lights work. Oh, we've got headlights. Excellent. Got main beams. Got main beam. We've got tail lights. Excellent. Got a rear fog on this thing somewhere, I guess. Pull for rear fog. Yeah, rear fogs. This thing's good. Got parking lights. Nothing has parking lights anymore. Just gives a little rev. Oh, the throttle was so stiff then. I actually thought it was the brake pedal I was pushing. So this is beyond baffling. It works. Everything works. It's feeding power to the fuel pump. Power is going from the fuel pump's plug to the fuel pump motor. Everything works except the fact that it doesn't work. I am beyond baffled at this point. It is just insanity gone mad, if that's such a thing. I genuinely don't get what's gone wrong here. Really weird. But now that the thing's running, and I have put a plastic sheet across the seat, and as long as you get from the garage and you get your tyres done, I can't not take it for a drive up and down the drive, can I? We are in a bit of a hole on the floor here. Wow, it drives really nice. Brakes, any brakes? Yeah, it's got brakes. Lifty thing. Oh, this is great. This is really good. If only it ran on its own. Can't really see out the back, it's all misted up. And I've not changed the mirrors at all. There we go, it's better. I can see what I'm doing now. It's not hit the fence. My big bit of plank, I put a plank of wood into the gap in the flower bed, which isn't a flower bed, to try and make it easier to roll it back and forth. It's actually just made it a lot harder. Even the Freelander took a bit of force. Oh, the Z-Tech is so smooth. Oh, I love it. It really is nice. Okay, I'm going to stop playing around like an idiot, turn it off and have a think about what on earth is wrong. Okay, so if bafflement can permeate through a computer screen, it should be permeating to you right this very moment. I do not know why that doesn't work. Everything works in isolation, just not when it's brought together. I don't get it. So I'm going to have to go away, hit the internet, talk to people, maybe get James the auto electrician back in again to have another look at this thing. But that kind of ends where the running goes, but we've driven it. It starts and we've driven the car, which is awesome. So that's really an exciting point in the vehicle's progress. But before I move on to go and do research off camera, which could take all the rest of today, so I'm going to stop filming, edit, publish, research. I'm going to show you underneath this car because I've seen it on the back of the lorry and it looked mind-blowingly good. And I just want to go and reassure everyone this is not a money pit with a hole in the floor, and reassure myself to a certain extent. So I'm going to quickly put a jack underneath it and show you that. But first of all, just look at this side. I spent all night in -1 polishing this car, and that has come up just so well. And now you can see it without the frost on it. This is really, really nice. It's a beautiful colour. Someone described it this morning as petrol blue, which is like a dark, that's called petrol blue as well, the Mercedes. It's kind of a darker version of that. I do need to try and put a bit of lacquer on there. I've got a really hard compound I'm polishing with, a Diamond Bright 1 cut. I'm going to get a harder pad to polish this, but it looks like the paint has been slightly etched. I might need to get that painted, but I don't know, there's money in the budget for that. The cost of getting it done might bring the car's value up to the amount I've spent on it. But it'll slow the project down in terms of getting it fitted into a paint shop and getting it painted, but it might make it sell more quickly because it looks nicer. It's a real hard decision on that, so hitting with more polish when it's not sub-zero is the thing. But look how good the side of this car looks. That is just amazing. There is a little bit of crust on here which I hadn't really noticed before, so maybe I'll get a rattle can and tidy that up a little bit as well. But first of all, let's look underneath here, because I think it's nice. Okay, I'm not climbing under the car, but I'm just putting the camera under to give you a good view. That looks really, really solid and really, really good. All the lines look good, brake lines, fuel lines, etc. Get around the back. So this is genuinely amazing. The chassis rails look really good. The boot floor looks incredible. All the suspension components look good. This is a real peach of a car. Beyond a few sort of paintwork blemishy things, it's awesome. Come around here, come on the other side. We've got a fairly recent looking exhaust pipe on the back here. The tailpipe looks really new. This car is brilliant. Someone is going to get an absolute gem of a car. It's amazing. Let's look under the front. I can see what look like new bolts on the shock tower there, so I'm wondering if it's had new shocks or springs at some point in its fairly recent history. The gaiters, or boots, whatever you want to call them, on the steering rack look good. And the floor pan, again, the chassis rails are excellent. I'm not seeing holes, I'm not seeing even surface rust, I'm seeing factory underseal. This is incredible. So I'm going to wrap this up at this point because I need to go and do some serious internet research, or phoning people research, or getting a man in research. One of those things needs to happen to figure out why the fuel pump doesn't want to play. Anyway, right, so I've got a few things left on my shopping list of things to do. The cabin filter needs doing, because that's probably going to be full of mould and disgustingness. Once that is changed and obviously the engine's running, I can run one of those vapor bomb things and clean out the cabin. That'll make it an awful lot nicer inside. My Bissell did turn up yesterday. I'm going to do that as well, get the interior looking really nice. I'm going to keep on polishing it because it does look just so good. It's amazing. The fuel filter needs changing. I will give it some fresh oil. Because it's 25 quid, it's not really going to break the bank, is it? And everyone keeps saying so. The comments on this thing have been amazing, and I'm so grateful to everyone who has watched these videos. 2 so far, this is number 3. The numbers have just blown me away. I was expecting probably a quarter of the interest in this car. My friend Chris, the mobile mechanic who's helped me out in cars in the past, he did very kindly drop me off the instruction sheet on how you change the timing belts on one of these. So I think, considering how sweet this engine is, I probably ought to change that timing belt. So that's 4 or 5 more things to do on it in the next week or so. I've got to say a huge thank you to a couple of people who've reached out with me regarding the wheels and tyres. One person has offered me a set of gear alloys, which are amazing. Another person has offered me a set of Dunlop tyres. I don't think they're the same size, unfortunately, but we'll try and see if we can bring those together, but that's not going to be until the end of next week because of their travel commitments. However, this tyre is now holding air significantly well enough that I could probably, if I can get the thing running, MOT it on those tyres and sort out the wheels while we're doing that, because wheels will make a massive difference to this car, make it look so good. Someone's even pointed me in the direction of some genuine LX wheel trims as well, but the seller hasn't come back to me yet, so lots of stuff going on in the background. But the thing with doing YouTube in real time is everything takes forever. Even ordering the fuel pump, I ordered that on Monday or Tuesday, then there was a delay at the motor factors and it didn't turn up until today. When it didn't fire up initially, I even thought I got a dead one, I was going to have to go and get another one and progress it even further, but it turned out to be it's a wiring issue with the car. So where was I going with this? Oh yes, I was saying that the amount of views have been amazing, but also meaning the amount of comments have been amazing. So thank you to everyone who's offered me sort of useful, helpful advice. I'm trying to read them as much as I can, but we're well over 1,000 comments on this car so far. So finding time to read that and do work on the car is kind of tricky. Anyway, right, I'm going to go do some research. you've got more content on this car coming in the next couple of days, because I need this car gone or I'm going to get divorced. And I can now back this into its little parking space over there under its own power for the first time, because there's probably enough fuel in the fuel system to just move it backwards in one shot. So let's give that a go quickly, and I'll say goodbye while I do that. Thank you, like and subscribe. Don't forget, Diamond Bright 10% off with their code FD10. It wasn't working for a couple of days, it's on again now. So yeah, thanks for everything, and join me again next time with the Mondeo, or I really want to weld the Mercedes. I'm gutted that it's a dry, quiet day and I'm not welding the Mercedes and I'm working on the Mondeo. But I want to see them both done. I want to see everything done. I want to see the Mini done. Oh man, like, too much to do. Not enough hours in the day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh, and also the Furious Driving web store is obviously active. If you want stickers or magnets for your Christmas stockings, make sure you get any orders in fairly soon in order to get them in before Christmas, because calendars, magnets, stickers, I need to add more stickers. I've got inside the window stickers I need to add to the website. T-shirts, hats, it's ideal hat weather. Yeah, that's all on furiousdriving.co.uk. Bye again. Forget the sign off, the car works now. It must have just needed priming or something. This is insane. The Mondeo lives, it works. It's actually a functional Ford Mondeo Mark II. Oh my goodness. Yeah! Yeah! It's running on its own fuel system now. The plug is back in. I'm not using the battery anymore. That is awesome. I can only assume it needed, I don't know, priming or something, getting fuel through it and getting the suck going. And that's running on the 5-year-old petrol, 7-year-old petrol that was in the tank, which is diluted with 2 gallons of V-power when I was faffing around originally. So that's, well, 20% V-power, 80% 7-year-old goop. Oh wow, right, okay. I don't need to waste my afternoon chasing weird electrical problems. I'm now going to go and order some more bits and pieces for it, and then polish it some more. Oh my goodness, I am beyond happy right now. I hope this video is now radiating extreme happiness. Oh goodness me. Thank you for watching again, and join me again next time when we do, well, almost finishing touches, I guess, for this thing. That is so good. I'm going to drive it up and down the drive some more. Well, I can't drive it far, but I can take it as far as the end of the drive. There's a lot of tools in the back of this car rolling around. Oh, this is so much better. Okay, brakes probably need a bit more attention. That was closer to the Crown Vic than I would have liked. Ooh, brakes go straight to the floor. Oh, I've got no brakes at all. Okay, let's have a look at what I'm doing here. Okay, I can isolate the exact location where the brakes failed. So I don't know if this is a blown brake pipe or if this was master cylinder. But yes, we'll be looking at this in the next video. Okay, so new problem, the brakes now go straight to the floor. So I'm stopping this on the handbrake now. That's a new issue which I was not previously aware of because it didn't move. So yeah, fun and indeed what I can only call games. So next issue will be diagnosing what's gone on the brakes. I've done the sign off bit already, so we'll just leave it here.